How's it going? Oh. Anyway, so obviously, for those of you who watch my channel, you know I've done a couple of reviews and videos on the ZeroWater filter. But recently I saw a video by Modern Castle on their channel, which they did a battery of tests on a number of filters. And the ZeroWater filter came in 5th or 6th, I think. And the Waterdrop filter came in 1st place out of all their tests. Now I thought some of their tests were, it was really good video and well made, well presented. But I thought some of the tests were a little bit, I'm not sure about. Anyway, I'll get to that later. First of all, what I want to do is compare the two filters. So firstly, you've got the ZeroWater filter, which uses ion exchange for filtering. So pretty much it filters all the total dissolved solids out. The Waterdrop is a 5-stage filter, carbon filter. I will say that this probably filters 4 times faster than this. It filters very fast, so I will say you will get your water very quick. This one can be a little bit slow, but within a few minutes it's done. They all come with their little gimmicks, don't they? They all come with their little gimmicks, but ZeroWater's gimmick is the TDS tester. So obviously, because it's got 0 TDS, they give you a TDS tester, put it in, bit gimmicky, and it shows 0 TDS, total dissolved solids. The Waterdrop filter has a little indicator on the top to tell you when the filter needs changing. And I thought that is quite handy to say if you taste it in the water and spitting it out. Okay. So what you do to set it, you hold it down for 3 seconds until it flashes. That sets it. And then what you do then, if it's blue, the water's fine. It's got 90 days left in it. If it's red and it flashes 6 times, it means you've only got 10 days left. That gives you time then to order the filter before it runs out completely. And if it's red and stays red for 5 seconds, I think that's what it is. You know, I might be wrong, but I think that's what it is. The filter's gone and you need to change it immediately. So I did like that. What I liked about the Waterdrop filter as well was this little flap in the top. I don't even see that there. It's a little flap in the top there. So you just hold it into the tap and you can fill up the filter or the pitcher without taking the lid off. Now I thought that was quite handy. Whereas with the ZeroWater filter, you do have to take off the lid to fill it. It's not a big deal, but I thought that was a nice little feature. What I do like about the ZeroWater filter is that if you do have it in the fridge, you've got this little button on the back, which you can get your water from. It's like a water faucet here. You press that button, the water comes out. So if you've got it on a shelf or in the fridge, you just push that button. You haven't got to lift the jug out to pour the water. This one doesn't have that feature. I thought it might be a good feature to put on this jug. You know, that was handy. When it comes to pouring, well, do you know what? I do think this one's a little bit better. The Waterdrop filter, the Waterdrop pitcher, I should say. Keep calling it a filter. It is a filter, but it's a pitcher. It did pour a lot better, a lot more accurately than the ZeroWater filter did. Sometimes when you're pouring the ZeroWater filter, it tends to come on a bit. All of a sudden, you're not sure if it's coming out, and all of a sudden it goes, and out it comes. So you're like, what? So just be aware of that. It's not too bad, but this, when it comes to pouring, it was better. So I did a number of tests myself. Now I couldn't do all the tests Modern Castle did. They used a proper company to do their tests, so I couldn't do the battery of tests they got. But I do work in a swimming pool. I have a health club with a swimming pool attached, and I have to do a battery of pool test there, so water test samples. So we've got a commercial grade pool testing kit, plus a commercial grade total dissolved solids tester, okay, TDS. So I didn't use this for the test because people have said, that's a load of rubbish, you can buy them for $5. Okay, which is true, you can. They are a bit naff. But do you know what? I got the same readings from this as I did for the commercial one I've got in work. So there. Okay. So let's just go through the tests I did, and then we'll sort of talk about their Modern Castle's tests. So first of all, let's look at chlorine. So the tap water I tested at source was 0.44 milligrams per litre. After filtering through ZeroWater, it came out as 0.08 milligrams per litre. and the Waterdrop filter was 0.15 milligrams per litre. So the ZeroWater actually did better of getting the chlorine out of the water than the Waterdrop did, just by a little bit, but it did do better. Now, the World Health Organization has set a health-based guideline maximum value of 5 milligrams per litre for chlorine as a residual disinfectant in the drinking water. The levels in tap water in England and Wales are well below this guideline, and most water companies aim to keep the level below 1 milligram per litre, which you can see by the results here, 0.44 milligrams. Then it comes to pH. So obviously people have said that, oh, the ZeroWater lowers pH too low. Well, this test showed it didn't really lower it that much. The tap water was 7.21. The ZeroWater lowered the pH to 6.77, and the Waterdrop lowered it to 6.83. So not much of a difference there. And following UK water regulations, safe drinking water should sit anywhere between 6.5 and 9.5 on the pH scale. A neutral pH level of 7 would be hard to find, as naturally water picks up minerals and chemicals from the environment. So you can see that the levels of pH are absolutely fine between 6.5 and 9.5. So there's no problem there with the pH for either of them. Alkalinity. So the tap water was 115 milligrams per litre. ZeroWater lowered the alkalinity to 10 milligrams per litre, and the Waterdrop filter actually increased the alkalinity to 140 milligrams per litre. Now, it's supposed to be this filter is supposed to be alkalizing. Whether that makes a difference or not, or is healthier, is debatable. So alkalinity is a measure of presence of bicarbonate, carbonate, or hydroxide constituents, if I could say it. Concentrations less than 100 ppm are desirable for domestic water supplies. So the recommended range for drinking water is 30 to 400. So actually, you know, the desirable range is 100, where the Waterdrop is taking it up to 140. So what's going on there? So the calcium hardness for tap water was 146 milligrams per litre. ZeroWater, obviously, because it's taken all the total dissolved solids out, will be 0 milligrams per litre. And the Waterdrop reduced it to 20 milligrams per litre. And in the UK, there are no set standards for water hardness. However, hardness should not normally exceed 500 milligrams per litre for household use, because some individuals can taste the minerals and it can cause high levels of scaling in pipes. So it's not a biggie really, that one. And then you've got total dissolved solids, TDS. Tap water was 120, ZeroWater reduced it to 0. And the Waterdrop, funnily enough, which is an odd result, because it reduced the calcium hardness, but it still came out at the same TDS as the tap water. And I can only assume because it added something and it took something away, maybe it added alkalinity and took down the calcium hardness, that's why it came up with the same result. So the WHO, no, not the band, okay, the World Health Organization prescribes that water is excellent if less than 300 milligrams per litre, good between 300 and 600 milligrams per litre, fair between 600 and 900 milligrams per litre, and poor between 900 and 1200 milligrams per litre. It's bad and acceptable greater than 1200 milligrams per litre. So even though TDS isn't a great measure of purity in water, having too much dissolved solids is not good, okay? And obviously the ZeroWater takes them all out. Now, I will say this, if you've got a really high TDS, the ZeroWater filter isn't going to last as long. It's going to reduce the life of the filter. And I did another video on this to say why it smells of fish. You can look out for that one. So now I want to go on to Modern Castle's tests. So let's have a look at the fluoride. So with fluoride in their testing, the Waterdrop removed 0% of fluoride, which is quite surprising. So I was quite shocked by that. But the ZeroWater filter removed 100% of the fluoride. So that's really good. Now, then it comes to chlorine, when they tested chlorine. Now, the weird thing is they didn't actually test the reduction in chlorine. They tested the removal of disinfection byproducts. And it said the ZeroWater failed to remove 60% of the byproducts. Now, they focused more on the byproducts and not chlorine itself. So it's a little bit ambiguous that, because was it based on a percentage of the byproducts found in the amount of free chlorine left over from the filtration, or was it the byproducts measured before filtration? They didn't mention that. So that's a little bit ambiguous to me. I'm not sure of that, because in my tests, the ZeroWater reduced the chlorine more than the Waterdrop filter. Then it came to alkalinity. So they said alkalinity stabilizes the water pH. More alkalinity means less pH volatility, which is a good thing. So why is it a good thing? Explain to us why it's a good thing. Again, that's vague and ambiguous. It's in itself. You know, how is alkalinity stabilizing pH? In what manner? How is it a good thing? And what is pH volatility? I have no idea. You try looking that up. You can't get an answer, but I couldn't anyway. You may be able to find it. So you think about pH, right? So if your pH goes 8, if it's got a pH of 8, it's more alkaline. If it's got a pH of 6, it's more acid. Okay. If your pH goes higher than 9 or 10, say it goes to 11, then it's too alkaline, and that's not good for you. If it goes lower than 4, it's too acid, and that's bad for you. So that's what all pH volatility is, and stability is the range of pH. I really don't get it. I'm not sure what they mean by that, and saying it's a good thing, again, is too vague. Doesn't make any sense to me. So look, there's a lot of debate around alkaline water and whether it's good for you or not. Too much alkaline is bad for you. Too acidic is bad for you. Okay, somewhere in the middle is about right. Okay, this alkaline water thing is neither here or there. And yeah, it did increase the alkalinity, but you know, apparently it's a good thing.
More alkalinity means less pH volatility, which is a good thing.
So what is my final verdict? Well, they're both pretty decent filters, okay? There's an argument for both. Now, this is what I think. And you may think I'm talking out of my butthole, okay? But I think if you're living in a soft water area with a lower TDS and your area also has fluoride added to the water. Luckily, we don't have fluoride added here in Wales in the UK. Thank God, I didn't want that in my water. But if you have fluoride added to your water, or you've got a lower TDS, then get the ZeroWater filter. Obviously, if you've got a higher TDS and you don't have any fluoride in your water, then maybe, you know, the Waterdrop filter might be for you. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. What do you think the comments that Modern Castle made were sometimes a little bit vague? Again, it's a great video, but some of the comments, they could have explained more, elaborated more on what they mean by, for instance, a good thing. Okay, thanks for watching. Don't forget, subscribe, like the video. Super thanks is there. Okay, I'll catch you in the next one.